Hi, sorry about that. This is the second part of my Parkinson's video. Um, I was just actually checking there. The last Parkinson's video I did was in 2016, which is a long time. Um, I was saying I was in the neurology department at Edinburgh Royal Infirmary for 3.5 weeks with Parkinson's delirium. I don't know how many of you guys have got the suffered Parkinson's delirium. I'm on a 9.5 milligram patch now for it. It's horrific where you literally you can see people that are not here. You can see cats crawling up a wall. You see things moving. You have delusions. It's a horrific thing. Um, only downside is it was a decision we had to make was when I got the patch, it makes the physical symptoms of the Parkinson's a bit worse, which I can deal with that though. It's okay, because I understand that more than I understand the delirium, and the delirium was meant to be a short term, but it's turned more into like delirium dementia, sort of. It's more permanent, and certainly brought on more with stress and anxiety and things like that. Um, also lost the ability to drive because um, part of the delirium was I was losing time, and I couldn't account for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and I wasn't sure what was going on, and so clearly that made me unsafe to drive, for both myself and for others. Um, but for the treatment in the neurology ward department in the Royal Infirmary, the neurology department, it was exceptional, and it's truly an amazing place. And all the nurses are, well, most of the nurses were specifically trained towards Parkinson's, which is a big help. Um, the reason I'm in here just now is got diagnosed with colitis at the beginning of the year, and I believe that um, Parkinson's is related to the gut in some way. The amount of people with Parkinson's I know that have got gut issues as well. So I've been in here since last Thursday, and because the colitis is flared up, and it's all about medication. And you know what it's like when you're taking Parkinson's medication. Some of us can be taking up to 30 meds a day, and it's getting that combination right. And so hopefully I'm on the last stretch here. It's an old-fashioned part of the hospital, and yeah, it's um, it's okay, and the staff are very friendly, and they know what they're doing regarding the Parkinson's. Pharmacist is really switched on. The biggest problem is going to be, and the biggest test is always going to be, is when someone with Parkinson's gets discharged. The information that goes from the doctors in the hospital to the pharmacy department in the hospital, that information then has to go from the pharmacy in the hospital to your GP, to the pharmacist at your local um, shop that you get your prescriptions from, and that's where the situation can go wrong sometimes, or if they're stopping the medication, or if they're adding the medication. Um, it does help if you've got somebody. I'm fortunate, I've got my wife Denise who does my meds, and she knows more about my meds than I do. It helps if you've got someone who's championing your meds and knows what you take. We don't all have that. I'm totally aware of that. And if we don't have that, that's when it can become a real issue for us. Um, it's just the challenges of having Parkinson's and being in the hospital. I'm blessed. I've got capacity. I can still talk and let people know what I need and what I don't need. If I wasn't able to do that, it would be a bigger issue. As I said earlier, it's hard enough being having Parkinson's without being in the hospital, which just adds to the stress, which adds to the delirium. The amount of times during the last week that I haven't been getting up and doing things, or waking up during the night, and yeah, you don't even want to go there. It would be interesting to hear what other people's um, experiences of hospitals and things are, and yeah, and whether you're listening to and taken seriously. And my experience is that more and more people are getting more and more experienced on Parkinson's, and they're getting more and more aware of things like colitis, things like gut problems, things that they never thought could be related to Parkinson's before, are indeed related to Parkinson's. Um, they need to be treated separately with separate medication, but there is a Parkinson's link with a lot of the other stuff that's going on. And that's not to say that every time anyone with Parkinson's gets an illness or a disease, it's got anything to do with PD. I'm not suggesting that, but quite often there can be a link. So that's where I am just now. Sorry, it's been 5 years since my last video. Lots have changed since then, medication wise. If I would suggest, if you're not on a slow release overnight, speak to your neurologist, speak to your Parkinson's nurse. Slow release overnight is a great help. If you suffer from REM, rapid eye movement at night, get help with that. There's medication out there that can help you with that. Not 100%, but it can help you with that. If you're dealing with anxiety or depression, again, speak to your GP, your Parkinson's nurse. It's all tied in, right? And don't be scared to ask people for help. Don't, especially having had lockdown for the last year, don't sit in silence, and make sure that the people around you know that you need help, and make sure the people who can give you help know that you need help. Because anxiety and depression certainly can make your everyday symptoms worse. It can make your tremor worse. It can make your stability worse. It can make your pain levels worse, and it can have that knock-on effect. So just be aware of that, and don't be scared to ask people and for help. And I always think it's a good idea to, if you can, I know it's difficult in these days with multiple different general practitioners, but if you can have a GP, a go-to GP who knows you and who knows your circumstances, I think that's a good idea, because we all know that Parkinson's nurses do a great job, but they're restricted in the time that they have and the time that they can spend with us, and even more so the neurologists. So rather than sit and feel that you're on your own with nowhere to go and no one to talk to, it's a good idea to have a go-to person, GP, to speak to, and also whoever doing your meds, if it's possible to deal with the same person, is always a good idea, unless of course that person goes off sick, but hey ho, that brings its own problems. But again, someone who, if there is a meds error, can contact you and tell you that there's a problem. Okay, listen, I have to go just now, but there's a doctor at the door, but I'll be back soon. Lots of love, bye.